Hey, Jim Schultz back with y'all for episode number 6 of the Greeks Crash Course. In this guy, we are going to cover charm. Now, I'm going to try not to sensationalize this guy too much. Like, I don't want to lead you guys astray with hyperbole, but these next 8 minutes, they might completely change the way that you view trading. Specifically, your strike selection. Charm really is a total game changer. Now, all right, let's unpack charm in the same way that we've unpacked all the Greeks to this point. Let's do this guy across 4 different dimensions. What the Greek is, how we primarily use the Greek, how it impacts returns, and how it impacts risks. Now, all right, without further ado, let's dive right in to episode number 6 of the Greeks Crash Course, charm. All right, so what is charm? Well, let's answer that question in the same way that we've already answered that question with the previous 5 Greeks. Let's do it mathematically, and then let's do it intuitively. So mathematically, charm is another second derivative of the Black-Scholes option pricing model. It's the same as gamma in that regard. Gamma was also a second derivative of the Black-Scholes option pricing model. Now with gamma, we differentiated the model with respect to price and then again with respect to price. What charm does is it shares delta as that first layer, if you will, but then it differentiates the model with respect to time. So the first differentiation is with respect to price. The second differentiation is with respect to time. So what charm effectively measures is how does delta itself change over time. Okay, so that's the mathematical side of charm. But what about the intuitive side of charm? Well, this is where the magical properties of this Greek really begin to shine. All right, so charm measures how delta changes over time. But if we push that a little bit further, if we explore that a little bit more deeply, here's what we're going to find. Out of the money options and in the money options typically have stronger charms, whereas at the money options have weaker charms. Now here's what that means. If I have an out-of-the-money strategy, then those deltas are going to decay more quickly. Those deltas are going to move towards 0 more quickly. Whereas if I have an in-the-money strategy, those deltas are going to strengthen more quickly. Those deltas are going to move towards 100 more quickly because they have stronger charms on the out-of-the-money side, on the in-the-money side. At the money options typically have weaker charms. They cling on to their deltas for a longer period of time. Those deltas don't decay like they might if they were out of the money or strengthen like they might if they were in the money. Okay, if I'm a premium seller, those out of the money delta decays, now I'm really interested because lower delta options typically carry what? Lower extrinsic values. So as the deltas move down because of charm, the extrinsic values are going to move down because of charm. And now as a premium seller, I've got something that I can work with. So how do we use charm to be honest, charm, even with all its incredibleness, is not as utilized as some of the other Greeks that we might use on a fairly regular basis, like your deltas and your thetas and your vegas. And that makes sense because with delta, with theta, with vega, with even gamma, there's a lot more of a tangible impact on those Greeks, whereas charm is kind of something that's working more in the backdrop. It's kind of something that's working more in the background, but still, understanding its existence, understanding its impact, it can allow you to better screen through your strategies, to better filter through your strategies so that you can select strikes, so that you can select strategies and you can understand the gimmies and the gotchas of those guys so you end up with something that is customized for the risk return profile that you yourself are trying to achieve based on your risk tolerance, your return projections, your experience level, etc. So charm can be a very valuable thing in understanding kind of this customization process. All right, so how can we use charm to improve our returns? Well, charm's relationship with returns is going to very much be what we've already outlined. You move further out of the money with your strike selection, the deltas on those strikes decay more quickly. Because the deltas on those strikes decay more quickly, the extrinsic value on those strikes, on those options, decays more quickly. And as a result, you are left achieving faster relative returns. For example, if you sell a 10 delta put, that's going to decay a lot more quickly than a 20 delta put, ceteris paribus. You sell a 20 delta strangle, that's going to decay more quickly than a 30 delta strangle, ceteris paribus. This is a positive thing. This is a good thing. This is a gimme, if you will. But before you go out selling 3 delta strangles to maximize your charm because, hey, Jim told me so, let's make sure we understand the risks. Let's make sure we explore the trade-off. Let's make sure we understand the gotcha that's right around the corner. Okay, so what about charm's relationship with risk? Well, to be honest, it's not as obvious as it might be with some of the other higher order Greeks like Color and like Vama, two of the guys that we're going to see in the next 2 episodes of the Greeks Crash Course. But still, we do know this. If you go further out of the money in an effort to maximize your charm, you are going to have less risk on a per contract basis. The problem is this. Those lower delta strikes, those further out of the money options, they're going to have lower premiums. So what are you very likely going to do? What are you very likely going to consider at least adding more contracts, upping your trade size to give the trade, to give the position more economic significance? In doing so, you will be taking on more risk. You will be taking on more risk that you might not even realize that you are taking on, i.e. episode number 8 of this crash course when we take a look at Vama. So the most important thing to pull away right now is there's something there. There's something powerful that's there with charm. But we don't want to just go hog wild selling these 3 delta strangles until we take some time to understand those higher order Greeks, until we take some time to understand these next level gotchas that are absolutely there. And just like that, guys, we are done with episode 6. The second half of the Greeks Crash Course is now fully underway. If you wanted to share this episode with one of your trader friends, that would be terrific. If you want to save this episode for future reference for yourself, that's also probably not a bad idea. And when you are ready, I will see you in episode number 7, where we are going to talk about color. I'll see you there.